TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom, Erev Tov, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem. Tensions in Lebanon are spiraling amid prospects of renewed war between Hezbollah and Israel. Israeli Diaspora Affairs Minister Amichai Chikli says Syria and Turkey pose the greatest threat to Israel today. U.S. President Donald Trump says he will help the Kurds, Christians, and Druze after asked about their plight for autonomy in Syria. The U.S.-Israel relations are of utmost importance, in which the State of Israel benefits the United States with much added value in multiple fields, to include intelligence sharing, a wide array of innovative projects, security, and critical resources. With that being said, according to Washington's ambassador to the United Nations, Mike Waltz, during a Q&A session at the annual Israel Hayom Newspapers Summit in New York, the foundation of the U.S.-Israel relationship is rooted much deeper. It is rooted in shared Judeo-Christian values.
And I can tell you for certain, the relationship with the United States and Israel in terms of intelligence sharing, in terms of our military cooperation, increasingly, I'm a huge fan of Startup Nation. I don't know if Dan Senor is here, but the technological sharing, the innovation that's coming out of it, and frankly, that we share common enemies and adversaries. In many ways, the brave men and women of the IDF are fighting America's enemies for us, and are very much on the front lines. The bottom line is, it's our shared values, and those Judeo-Christian values are the basis of the greatest country on earth, in my humble opinion, the United States of America. And that, to me, is the glue that will always be at the center of the U.S.-Israel alliance.
Ambassador Waltz went on to address a question about widely brewing skepticism vis-a-vis prospects of success for the International Stabilization Force achieving Hamas's disarmament throughout the Gaza Strip, alongside President Donald Trump's ambitious 20-point plan. Ambassador Waltz responded by highlighting the significance of getting UN Security Council Resolution 2803 across the finish line, granting the American plan much-needed international support to implement President Trump's vision for the Gaza Strip.
What I want everyone to understand that will be established as a result is a board of peace led by President Trump. Within that, you'll have the technical authority, gas, food, water over Gaza. You're going to have international financial instruments under the World Bank and this stabilization force. And I can tell you we're having very good conversations with countries like Indonesia, like Azerbaijan, and several others that are willing to commit significant troops to this effort. And what I would tell folks in the region, and I hope to be there very soon to see all of this firsthand, is that the choices were go back to war, go back to a full occupation, or let the president and the international community set this structure in place that I believe will ultimately result in the destruction, the dismantlement of Hamas, which must be, and the president has been very clear on that, which must be first and foremost. But what we are trying to avoid is the definition of insanity. We cannot pour billions into rebuilding, allow Hamas to survive. They strike Israel again. Israel takes the aggressive action necessary to hit back, and here we go on this cycle all over again.
Asked further about whether he truly believed that the Islamist Hamas would disarm,
the president, I think, has been quite clear and directly to Hamas that they are going to be disarmed either the easy way or the hard way. One way or another, Hamas has to go.
Meanwhile, tensions in Lebanon have been escalating ahead of a deadline set for the Lebanese military's operation to demilitarize territories south of the Litani River and to ensure that no Hezbollah weapons remain there. The Lebanese Armed Forces, or LAF, is not expected to achieve the objectives ahead of the deadline, which is the source of mounting fears of an imminent Israeli attack. Meanwhile, the U.S. Special Envoy for Lebanon, Morgan Ortagus, arrived in Israel yesterday for consecutive meetings with Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar, Defense Minister Israel Katz, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. During her latter meeting, the head of the IDF Intelligence Directorate, Major General Shlomi Binder, provided the American envoy with comprehensive proof of a lack of political will on the one hand and slow execution on the other by Lebanese authorities and the Lebanese armed forces to disarm Hezbollah's terror infrastructure in southern Lebanon. Moreover, General Binder also provided Ortagus with ample evidence that Hezbollah is making extensive efforts to regroup and rearm. When Ambassador Mike Waltz was asked during the Israel Hayom summit whether Hezbollah's defiant activities would lead to a resumption of hostilities,
well, let's certainly hope not. There's active negotiations as we speak. We agree that the Lebanese government has to move faster. Hezbollah has to not only stay disarmed, but remain disarmed. I certainly give, again, history will look back on one of the most amazing and effective covert operations in the pagers and beepers operation to decapitate Hezbollah, and frankly, give the country of Lebanon, give the people of Lebanon a chance. And that chance was furthered by the election of General Aoun. With the combination of President Trump and the actions of this administration and also the Israeli government, they were told over and over again things could not happen. You could not cross certain red lines. We saw the taking down of Hania. We saw the taking down of Nasrallah. We saw the complete decapitation of Hezbollah, that sword of Damocles that has been living over Israel, northern Israel, and really all of Israel for far too long, the fall of Assad, and the complete retreat of the Iranian regime, and the destruction of their nuclear program just this year. So, yes, it is going to be difficult. It's going to be fraught. We're going to take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back at times. But the opportunities right now are immense, and you just saw President Trump yesterday say, look, we know, as Secretary Rubio has said, the folks running Syria right now would never pass an FBI background check. They have a horrible past. However, we also cannot let it descend into absolute chaos. He has made the decision, working with our Gulf Arab allies, to give them a chance. And let's see how it goes. But I think the opportunities right now are what we should be focused on.
During a press conference at the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump was asked about the plight of the Kurdish, Christian, and Druze minorities in Syria, who are subject to increasing pressure and attacks by the Damascus regime and affiliated jihadi and Islamist forces.
Your decisions, recent decisions to Syria, renewed many hopes for the Syrian people. And now the minorities in Syria, like Kurds, Christians, and Jews, they want help, U.S. help them to have some sort of autonomy and their rights being protected in the Syria. How do you
we're going to give them help. And I think Syria has come a long way.
Well, President Trump noted that he intends to help the Kurds, Christian, and Druze minorities who are urging the United States to gain autonomy in their respective regions. The American leader also stressed that he believes the Syrian president was doing a good job.
The new leader of Syria was here, as you know, 3 weeks ago, and he was really into making that country, bringing the country around. Not an easy job. Not an easy job. It's centuries of problems. But I think he's going to do a good job. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in him.
Returning to the Israel Hayom summit in New York, where Israeli Minister of Diaspora Affairs, Amichai Chikli, was asked about the latest developments vis-a-vis Syria.
There's a term in the Bible מצפון תיפתח הרעה. The greatest threat to the state of Israel today is coming from Turkey and Syria. Turkey is becoming the new Iran. The vision of Erdogan is twofold. One, it is a neo-Ottoman vision to re-establish the Ottoman Empire. But there's a second dimension, which is the Caliphate, the Muslim Brotherhood vision of the AKP. Erdogan's party and Erdogan himself is a part of the same movement that the US administration is banning. Erdogan is Muslim Brotherhood. Giuliani is Muslim Brotherhood. Their vision is the Caliphate. Their enemy is us. I think that one of the most strategic, the most important decision of the war in action was to take the Hermon and the buffer zone in Syria. We must insist to have our troops in the Hermon and in the buffer zone and to fight those jihadists and not let the next October 7th
and not
scenario,
even to try to achieve a peace agreement or even a ceasefire agreement with
there will
Giuliani?
be no peace agreement with Giuliani. Giuliani is the founder of Al-Qaeda in Syria. He is the founder of Al-Qaeda in Syria. There is nothing mutual between us and these jihadists who butchered thousands of Alawites and Druze, and there is zero legitimacy for Giuliani. And I think it was a mistake to give him the credit.
It is important to point out that Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, during a meeting with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Tehran earlier this week, stressed that Turkey and Iran see eye to eye regarding Israel as the number one security threat to the region, while Tehran's top diplomat urged all nations of the region to band together to confront Israel.
Israel's recent attacks on Lebanon and Syria show that the regime seeks to undermine regional stability. Countries in the region have a responsibility to stop Israel's aggressions against countries like Syria and Lebanon.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I would like to say thank you if you are a supporter of TV7 Israel, since your donation is essentially helping us produce our daily news updates from here in Jerusalem. If you haven't yet supported TV7 Israel, please consider doing so, since TV7 Israel is exclusively donation-based. You can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Separately, as ever, pray for our brothers and sisters being persecuted globally, along with prayers for the peace of Jerusalem, as well as the redemption of Israel. Jonathan Hessen wishing you a blessed evening, and until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.